All right, we are back. We are back. We are back. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Red Hot Mic. I am your host, G. Alfred Palmer, and I am glad that you're with me one more time. Come on, let's get it. Oh, yeah, this is how we do. Coming into the Red Hot Mic. Come on in here, because there's lions and tigers and bears out there. Come on out of there. Come on out of that cold. Come on in here where it's nice and warm at the Red Hot Mic. Come on. I appreciate you coming in. I appreciate you coming in. I am your host, G. Alfred Palmer, and it's grand to have you one more time. It is my privilege, a privilege to have you here one more time. Come on in as we get prepared to ruminate, elevate, and to activate into a new level of who we are and who we can be. It's the Red Hot Mic. Oh yeah, that's right. Come on in here. Oh yeah, I got something for you today. I'm really excited about it. What we're going to talk about. Why is it needed? Why are we going to talk about what we're going to talk about today? Well, the reason why we're going to talk about it because what we're seeing now is we're literally seeing the differences of human developmental stages in front of us, and we need to be able to identify it. It's important that we be able to identify it. And so I'm really going to use an example of an individual, which I don't like to do often, but we're going to do it today. We're going to do it today. And it's an individual that's been getting a lot of headline, a lot of visibility, if you would. And as a result of that, we're going to use him as if you were our subject study today in our broadcast. I'm excited about it because I think it's something that we can learn from. I am your host, G. Alfred Palmer. Let's get it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Come on. Let's get it. Let's get it. I need you to subscribe to this channel. I need you to subscribe, like, and share, if you would, on our channel. We really would like that. It would be helpful so much. You got so much going on here. I got a light that's acting up. It's been acting up for a little while. It's probably time to replace that one. And so we're going to look at doing that real soon. Our candle of the evening. Again, our favorite one from Apocrypha. I don't know how to say the name. Apothecary. 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 Again, the charcoal. I like that charcoal. I really do. So that's our candle of the evening. And as usual, when we do this, we do it in respect and honor of Mr. Kevin Samuels. When we get to this portion of the show, it is in dedication to him. And today, tonight, this evening, our fragrance of the evening is Tom Ford's Noir Extreme. Noir Extreme. This is one of my favorites. It's one of my favorites. I really, really like this scent, and I'm just going to share with you what the company says about it. It says Noir reveals the decadent aspect of the noir man, noir meaning black. The cologne's rich blend of spicy heat and glowing citrus gives way to Indian kufa wrapped in rose absolute, jasmine, accord, and orange flower. Extravagant amber merges with sandalwood and vanilla ember for a creamy, woodsy finish. Noir Extreme captures the daring, opulent side of the noir man. He knows his desires, his vices, and what brings him pleasure and relishes in the indulgence of it. It is this private side of him he reserves for himself at its maximum expression. Wow. It is a beautiful, beautiful scent. I really, really like it. And you really can smell the creamy part of it that is talked about. There is a creamy side to it. It is citrusy. This is a very, very, very elegant fragrance. Without shadow of a doubt, it's one of my favorites. I have another one that I want to share that is my favorite. And but this is becoming one of my favorites. It is definitely a something that you want to add to your repertoire. It has a warm, spicy fragrance with a woodsy scent, woodsy and spicy scent, with key fragrance notes as amber, cardamom, and sandalwood. It's a very, very excellent, excellent scent fragrance. I like it a lot. It's definitely one of my favorites. So I again, we do this in homage to Mr. Kevin Samuels, who we think has added some tremendous value to the idea of what men are and doing. Excuse me while I do this real quick, and I get ready for our answer wheel, because we always try to do the answer wheel with some music as we prepare to embark on the answer wheel. And to do this, we have to add another camera. So what I'm going to do is add extra camera. There we go. And there it is. That's our camera with the answer wheel. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's time for us to really gain an opportunity to hear an answer to maybe a question that we've had. And so we do the answer wheel to allow the universe to give you an answer that no one else can give you. And so we really look forward to this. I really look forward to this part because I think it's very, very important that you get an opportunity. And I try to, as much as possible, make sure you can see it. And listen, our answer wheel always gives us some direction, gives us something relative to an answer to our problem. Maybe a situation that you're faced with. Our answer wheel gives us several answers. It gives us yes, maybe, definitely, no way, try again, and ask a friend. So we're going to give the answer wheel a whirl as my light continues to act up. And the answer wheel will eventually stop. And once it does, we're going to just allow you to definitely see what the answer wheel is saying maybe today. It's saying maybe, maybe it's a good time. Maybe this is a good opportunity that's presented to you. Maybe it's a new job that you're being an opportunity, or a new business venture that you're being given the opportunity towards. I'm going to get rid of some of the lights. Maybe it's a new relationship. Maybe it's time for that. Maybe it's time for relocation. Maybe whatever it is that you're facing. And one thing I learned about maybe is this: it gives us the opportunity to choose. It gives us the opportunity to pick. It gives us a little bit more freedom, leadway, if you would. I like maybe. I like maybe. So maybe, maybe what you're facing right now is something that is very much something that will give you a new opportunity. So maybe it's time for you to consider that, this new opportunity. Maybe another part of the answer wheel. I really enjoy the answer wheel because it really gives us a chance to uh, really allow you to express yourself and to really go inside yourself and to really do some introspective work. You know, that's what it does, and that's important. Introspective work is very, very important. Now, I'm going to be talking about something today that I really don't like putting people on the spot, but sometimes you have to. And I don't think this is really putting this individual on the spot um, totally, but I mean, there's going to be aspects where there will be. Um, I've been talking about the importance of human development. Now, we are once again talking about the masculinity man cave, and in the masculinity man cave, we are talking about right now. We're talking about masculinity vision. I'm gonna put that aside for a minute because I want to deal with what's going on with this individual relative to the human development perspective. When a boy is born, he's born as a boy. Masculinity comes into this world as a boy. Masculinity comes into this world as a boy, matriculates into malehood, and eventually develops and escalates to, evolves to, right, or or elevates to manhood. Doesn't happen for everyone, but it should happen. That's the problem, and that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the difference between manhood, malehood, and manhood. Malehood and manhood. I want to talk about the difference in that particular order because I believe that this is a prime example of what I want to show relative to development. But before I start talking about it, I want you to understand the individual I'm talking about is an individual that's by the name of Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate is an individual that is his name is Andrew Emery Tate. He is a content creator. He is a former kickboxer and has received a lot of notoriety as in the manosphere. And the manosphere basically is the answer to the feminist movement here in the United States and around the world, if you would. Now, the thing about Andrew Tate, um, I think that this young man, he's 35. Uh, he's born in August. Excuse me. He's born on December 14th, 1986. He's a Black American, Black Brit. His father's Black, and his mother is not. Now, and as a result of that, he is a Black man. Now, some folks may have problem. He may not even. I think he really does embrace it because he embraces his father. The one thing I want to say about Andrew Tate is that he's an alpha male of the nth degree. If you've ever want to see what an alpha male looks like, if you were to look it up in the dictionary, there would be his picture like that as an alpha male, because he definitely betrays the alpha male. Now, here's what I want to talk about. Um, I'm going to talk about him in a minute, but I think it's important that we understand something. Andrew Tate has been banned from all media, social media uh, uh, platforms. He's all of them. Whatever you name, he's been Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. They all banned him. Kind of reminds me of I don't even know who's as bad as Donald Trump. I think this is probably more extreme even than that. And there are, without a shadow of a doubt, there are more extremists out there than Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate's, and I can show you some of his. But you look him up. I mean, I'm not gonna sway you one way or another because I can pick different types of of clips that will show different aspects of Andrew Tate. And if you wanted him to look one way, you can do it. If you want him to make him look another way, you can do it. I would say go look up Andrew Tate, Google him, and look at some of his content if you can. I don't know. I don't know if anything's even available anymore. I don't even know. But I do know that he is on Bumble. Bumble is or Bumble, something. It's a new platform, and this new platform that he's now, from what I've heard, he's profiting from because once he's gotten kicked off of these other more well-known platforms, this particular platform has basically giving. He's going to be the one that's basically um, he's the big name of it, and so he's got a lot of notoriety from this. I think it's Rumble. He's got a lot of notoriety from Rumble, and not only that, but got paid well from it as well, in the millions of dollars. And then that's fine. I'm not mad at him. I mean, if these platforms want to try to limit your freedom of speech, then there's other avenues that are available. So my hats off to Andrew Tate in these regards, in that he's been able to do some of the things that he's been able to do. Now, his voice, his voice, I want to talk about relative to developmental human development. Now, some of the things that Andrew Tate has to say may sound good, and then there are some things that may sound bad, depending on your perspective. Depending on your perspective. But I will say this: um, the feminist movement, which is a response, it's been a response to the chauvinistic and to the misogynistic functionings and operations of the chauvinistic mentality in this country and around the world. So feminism rose up as a result. Now, I don't blame feminism for rising up against chauvinistic behavior and misogynistic functioning and operation. I don't have a problem with it, but it has to be done with balance, and that's the problem with anything that occurs. We go from one extreme to another. It's like the answer wheel. It sways from one direction to another, and it always seems to overcompensate in the direction that it's swinging to. Okay, so when chauvinistic behavior, look, chauvinistic behavior, and when misogynistic behavior became the commonplace, feminism came to sway the pendulum of equality and to bring it back to more of an equilibrium. But what happened is it began to sway, and this is what we're seeing now. We're seeing this sway that is in direct contrast to chauvinism and to misogyny, and it's the pendulum is swinging, and this pendulum is swinging too far toward feminism. And this pendulum that's swinging towards feminism, this is always what happens when we try to add equilibrium into our community, culture, and clan. We overcompensate. Why? Because what we're doing is we're using our faculties, we're using our prejudices and our judgments relative to a situation, and helping us to to as the pendulum swing, to pinpoint where we are as the pendulum swing. Now the pendulum swings as a form of justice, so it's universal. But what we do is, as it swings, we find ourselves in certain aspects, in certain time zones, eh, uh, in certain periods, if you would, and in those periods, in those time frames, we locate ourselves. Even though the pendulum may still be swinging, we take residence in a certain point, and we begin to preach, and we begin to advocate for that particular point that we seem to resonate with. But the pendulum of justice still swings, but it sometimes swings too far. We may think to one side, just like it was swinging too far to the misogynistic and chauvinistic side. Now it's swinging to some. They think that it's swinging too far to the feminist side. And so the thing about justice is, it won't stay there. That's the good part. It won't stay there. It will eventually begin to swing the other way. And eventually we'll find ourselves, hopefully, we can start taking up resonance more where equilibrium will be, more in the middle, lacking chauvinism, lacking feminism, and having a grand appreciation for both feminine and masculine, and beginning to understand the importance of both. Listen, boys come into this world as a token and a symbol of masculinity. Girls come into this environment as a token and a symbol of femininity. Femininity. You are only coming in as one, and your physical design determines what the universe has determined for you to be. Now, what happens is, when we come into this sphere, let's look at Andrew Tate, and let's look at me. Let's look at me. I came into this sphere as a boy, just like Andrew Tate did. Now, I've had my different dealings that have brought me to a place, right? And as Andrew did as well. Now, when we look at what happens in our lives, we look at significant emotional events. We look at situations and occurrences that take place that help us to grow and to shape in the different aspects of our development. Now, if you look at some of my past broadcasts, you'll see that I talk about 8 developmental evolutionary aspects or stages that we all go through. I'm not going to go through them because it'll take too long, but you can go back and you'll see me talking about those in some of my other videos. Matter of fact, I'll connect that video um, to follow up after this one. Now, what we have to understand is that when we come into this sphere, we come in as boys. Okay, our fathers are responsible for helping us develop through discipline, discipleship, right? And all of the things that a father would do for his son. The father teaches the boy how to embrace masculinity. What we see now is we're seeing parents allowing children to make decisions around their particular gender, and it's not for them to do, it's for the parent to do. Now, the parent teaches. Normally it's the parent of the same gender teaches. Actually, not even normally, it has to be the parent of the same gender. So it has, in my case, is my father. In the case of Andrew Tate, is his father, who was a black man named Emory. Andrew says that he was in the CIA. I don't know anything about it, but he says his father, and he speaks highly of his father. He speaks glowingly about his father, which I commend highly. I commend highly. When a boy doesn't speak well of his father, there's something wrong. There's something wrong when a boy doesn't speak highly of his father. Now, I speak highly of my father, who's no longer with us, but my father was a drug dealer. Yes, he was. He was a drug dealer. He sold drugs as and and selling drugs was the way that he made a living, because and so many black men in this country are left to that as a result of not being able to find focus and to bring into fruition their individual purpose. Without a shadow of a doubt, that was not what my father was supposed to do. And as a result, it ended his life prematurely, at least in my eyes. But what thing that I did learn some things from my father. And the things that I learned about from my father was in the area of masculinity. He taught me how to embrace being a boy and being and the aspects of matriculating toward malehood, to have me look forward to becoming a male. He promoted masculinity. A father should be promoting masculinity to his son. And without a shadow of a doubt, I believe that that's what Andrew Tate's father did. Every father should be the greatest cheerleader for, not a cheerleader because cheerleader is feminine, but mentor for his son to become embracing masculinity. The problem we have now is because men are not, the fathers are not showing their sons what masculinity means and to embrace it. And a lot of it is because they didn't have a father who didn't have a father. We've lacked fatherhood in our families, and it's important that fathers teach sons masculinity. See, masculinity is the science of masculine. ITY. If you look it up, means degree. Degree actually means and shows forth the levels. Levels shows order and organization. Orders and organization is science. And so when we look at masculinity, we need and only those that can do. And so many of us have not that have learned about masculinity had to learn. If our fathers wasn't in the home, we had to learn masculinity from others outside the home who were masculine men. At least masculine, we saw masculinity in certain aspects. So we had as boys to pick and choose masculinity from some places where it might have been good, it might have been bad, it might have been positive, it might have been negative. But the bottom line is we've picked and chose, I should say, different examples when it should have been our father. No one's going to teach you and disciple you and discipline you like your father would, because there's no greater love, there shouldn't be, for you than your father. So the father teaches the boy how to develop in the 8 stages or the 8 elements that we talked about before. And as he does that, as he teaches the boy how to develop in these different areas, what he also does see is what the boy's purpose is and what we do and how do we do that. There's certain aspects that begin to give you leanings as to what this particular son's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and strengths are. That's how a father is supposed to help shape, form, and fashion his son, because he does SWOT analysis like a corporation does. Your son is your business. He's your busyness. Your son is the one that you're supposed to ensure that you invest time and energy, your most valuable assets, into your son, to ensure that he becomes the male that he needs to be, so that he can then develop into the man that he must be. But it's your responsibility, fathers, dads, biological fathers. I'm not talking about stepdaddies. No, I'm not talking about you. Someone would say, well, stepdaddy's stepped in and done the jobs that fathers haven't done. It's not possible. It's not possible by virtue of the fact that there's a biological connection. That biological connection not only is biological, but it's spiritual. So yes, this father that is a stepfather may have, but his real aim for most stepfathers, his real interest is not as much in the child as it is in the mother. But a father, as a father, your interest must be in your son. Must be. You are responsible. When your son does not embrace masculinity, it is not your son's fault, it's your fault. You didn't teach him. Teach him means to disciple him. You didn't discipline him. The disciplining him means not only not corporal punishment, but you discipline him by telling him this is not what you do, this is what you do. You teach your son what is the pros and cons, the strengths and the weaknesses, so that he can understand what it means to be a boy. To show him through your experiences and your past experiences what it means to have opportunities and strengths, opportunities and threats as a boy. What are some of the things that he need? Only you can do it, Dad. Only you can do it. Not a stepfather. I'm not putting down stepfathers. I really appreciate those that have tried to step up and be what is impossible to be. But see, he's trying. But see, the fathers, what you've got to understand, biological fathers, what you must understand, look at the condition of our sons and see what, and take into account what's missing in their lives. What's missing in their lives, if you look from the day one of their birth to where they are now, their father was missing. Their father was missing. They missed how to embrace masculinity. So what are they doing? They're embracing through the culture, through media. They're learning to embrace femininity. But you can't even embrace femininity. All you can do is through observation, through practice, and through repetition, learn and pick up feminine traits. But you're still not feminine. You've got to be born feminine to be feminine. Your design details whether you're feminine or not. If you don't have the feminine equipment coming into the game, then you are not feminine. You do not have femininity if you don't have the design. So fellas, guys, lads, dudes, whatever you listen, the bottom line is if you have all the equipment that calls for you to insert, inject, initiate, penetrate, and pierce, thou art a boy. Thou art I already say male, but thou art a boy. And your father needed to teach you how to embrace that and to begin to matriculate into malehood. Now, what is the important thing about malehood? Now, in one of my books, I talk about the characteristics in certain aspects of in all three phases, but I talk about certain aspects of the development process within each particular stage. Now, with males, what literally becomes some of the identifying characteristics is that force becomes important, violence becomes important, physicality becomes important, muscularity becomes important, and verbal, the best way I can say is the communication becomes coarse. Okay. Verb and what else is at the top? The threat of violence. Males always have the threat of violence because all of those things that I just mentioned help to promote violence. Okay. Now, when I see Andrew Tate I see an alpha male. I see a male. I don't see a man. I see a male, an alpha male, a male that is very, very in touch with one of those characteristics I just mentioned to you. Very, 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 very materialistic. Very, very materialistic. And it's just, and this is what really causes a lot of men, excuse me, other males to gravitate toward Andrew Tate because they too have those same inclinations. And because of that, they think that Andrew Tate is a modern day Kevin Samuels. He's not. He's not. Kevin Samuels was more of a mature male than Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate is not a mature male. He's alpha, but he's not matriculated to manhood. You can hear it in the way he talks, in the way he dresses, right? His mentality. He's 35. He's 35. And he's black. He's black. He's American and British. But at the same token, even more so than that, he is an alpha. You have alpha males, beta males, delta males. See, and there's a progression in malehood till a male gets to manhood. Now, what happens, one of the important things, I'm going to talk about manhood. There's some important characteristics in manhood that we have to have. We have to have. But I'm not going to talk about that today. I need to stay here and let us talk about the truth about Andrew Tate. Now, Andrew Tate has some value. Now, his value is that pendulum that I talked about, that's swinging, and it's swinging toward feminism, and we're seeing so much of feminist ideology being shoved down our throat. Listen, the woman king, are you kidding me? There's no such thing. A king is a male. A queen is a female. You cannot have a woman king no more than you can have a male queen. Some folks will get that later. But here's what's happening. And this is the value of Andrew Tate. The pendulum is swinging. Justice is swinging. And because of justice is swinging, and we're seeing all these different stations of ideologies as it swings towards feminism, not and knowing this, that it won't stay. I don't care what they do. I don't care what the media promotes. It will not stay. Justice will not allow it. So what is Andrew Tate's value? Andrew Tate's value is to help those males that have no voice right now. Because feminism is feminism is shutting down the voice, right? I've been shut down myself, and I'm not even a male. But it's shutting down the voices, canceling out the voice of masculinity. And what Andrew Tate does is to help males, boys, hold on. Here we go. My light's going out again. I don't know. He's helping our males and our boys to hold on to what masculinity has for them in those phases, and as boys and as males. Men don't need that because men already know and understand, but we'll talk about them later. But so Andrew Tate is helping our boys and our males in this time in which feminism is running amok. Now, is Andrew Tate's perspective, is it masculinity? Some will call it toxic masculinity. No, I call it underdeveloped. Actually, with alpha males, it's overdeveloped masculinity. It's overdeveloped in certain areas. And some of those areas you can readily see available: clothes, sex, materialism, money, verbose, okay, salty language, vulgarities, okay. All these things are part of the masculine, but it's more of an alpha perspective. But it resonates with a lot of men his age, and even some that may be a little younger. Why? Because the alpha male has a lot of the same characteristics across the board. That's why they hear him. And it helps them in this season that we're in of feminism. I watched a movie and it was called Alice. I think it was Alice, yes, with Kiki Palmer. And more movies show, and then there was another movie with Queen Latifah and Ludacris. No, not Ludacris. Yeah, Ludacris. And these movies have promoted women to not need men, and to the point that men, common in the movie with Kiki Palmer, was non-existent. There was he did nothing. The movie with Queen Latifah, Ludacris did nothing. So what we're seeing is males that are doing nothing. But these images are being promoted. But images like Andrew Tate are being silenced and canceled. Is it right? No, absolutely not. If Andrew Tate should be canceled and silenced, so should Kiki Palmer, and so should uh, Queen Latifah, and the lady that played Woman King. But they none of them should be silenced. None of them. None of them should be silenced. No. But what we're seeing is Andrew Tate has been silenced. Kevin Samuels, he's silent. But what Kevin Samuels has done is he's left a legacy. He's left a legacy. And I would say this. I would have to say this. Kevin Samuel, in all intents and purposes, Kevin Samuels was a man, but there's some aspects in his life that I think that opened the door to some of the things that occurred. There's some things that men must have. One of them is, well, I can't do it now. I can't do it now. I got to stay here. Okay, so this answer, this alpha male mentality, this Andrew Tate-ism, is to help our boys and our males not lose that alpha mentality. It's needed because when it comes to war, you need alphas. When it comes to fighting, you need alphas. When it comes to defending, you need alphas. Alphas play a very important role in the survival of a species. And if you think that you can get rid of alphas and that the culture is going to survive, you are sadly mistaken. You'll see. Alphas have a role. But see, what happens is, well, I can't get over that. So alpha mentality is very, very important. So I think I'm going to stop there with this because I think that I could go further, but I want to say this. I am not putting down Andrew Tate. I see value in Andrew Tate. I do see value in him for our boys and for our males. But for men, Andrew Tate is not for you. You know that. You already have the equipment. You already have it. You don't need Andrew, do you? No, you don't. You don't. You don't need Andrew Tate. But it's time for you to get some of that machismo that he has. There's so many men just sitting there, not saying anything about nothing. And I want you to know that's not man mentality. You got to get rid of that. You've got to get rid of that. Listen, the biblical narrative said this. When Adam came on the scene, the Creator said it's not good for man to be alone. The literal word is to be all one. So what the Creator did was separate. See, because Adam had to bring feminine into this realm, because feminine does not have the legal right to pierce into this atmosphere. That is a masculine function. So the Creator engulfed the feminine inside the masculine in order for it to get here, and then said it's not good. It's not good for it to be all one. So it's separated. So 100%, when you're masculine, you're 100% masculine. There is no feminine side. There is no feminine side. Those are the traits that you picked up from your mom, your sister, and all the women in your environment. But it's not anything that you came here with. And it's the same thing on the feminine side. So when man came here, the Creator separated masculinity and femininity. 100% masculinity, 100% femininity. You don't have no feminine side. Feminine side. You know where you got that from? Dudes and guys who have become more infiltrated with feminine traits. Men don't have feminine sides. Men don't have it. Boys don't have it. Males don't have it. 100% masculinity. As girls, females, and women are 100% femininity. That's why we need one another. Because I lack what she has. She lacks what I have. She needs me and I need her. Until we get to that place, we'll still continue to talk about I don't need a man. We'll continue to hold up our passports and saying we're going to other countries to find women. Listen, women are here. Women are here. You just got to know what you're looking for. And not get all caught up by what these undisciplined females are doing, because they weren't taught by their mothers. Just like these undisciplined boys weren't taught by their fathers. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. We're coming at you. We're coming at you. Well, I hope you got something out of this. I really do. Hope you have gotten something out of it. Listen, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, all you have to do is to go and let me give you, it's scrolling at the bottom of the page. You see our email address is trhmgap@gmail. trhmgap@gmail. So you can send me your questions, comments, or concerns. I'd love to hear from you. And so I needed to do this particular um, broadcast, but I'm coming right back at you later, and then we're going to go back and we're going to pick up where we left off at our last program, where we were talking about how to rediscover your masculine vision, because we didn't finish. I talked about the 12 steps. I was talking about the 12 steps. What I'm trying to do is to shorten these broadcasts, and we're getting there. Okay, we're getting there, and I'm going to keep trying, striving to do that more and more. Well, thank you for coming to the broadcast. Please subscribe, like, share, hit the notification bell so you know when we are going to do some more broadcasting, so that you can ruminate, elevate, and activate. This is G Alpha Palmer. Till next time, peace.